Pastor Benny, he said, hear this. Pastor Benny, he said, I grew up in the house of a prayer man. All of those regalias you say about the Archbishop dressing nice. Thank God, God's servant was close to the Archbishop. So we had a talk of that on the phone. All those regalia you are seeing. Sir, that man prays. There was a time, there was a vigil in church. And the Archbishop led the vigil. We started from 8 p.m. By 4 a.m., many of us had become Muslims. This man was just praying. In his 50s then, just praying. We are wondering. When he was done with 5, there is what they call early morning prayer. If you're on the brackets of the CGM, you know what I'm saying. 5:30 we'll be in church. After that, 4 a.m. 5:30 we are in church. And early morning prayer is every day. Every day. You'll be there before everyone. A man who has certain dimensions of work with God. One day, in my state, a news was being read because the Archbishop, several of the churches, they had land disputes. A news was being read, and a lady came up and said, she read the headlines, and said, one of the headlines was, the Archbishop of Church of God Mission, Benshon Idahosa, to spend Christmas in prison. In less than 2 minutes, or a minute, there was power outage there. 5 minutes later, somebody else came and completed the news. We didn't know. Mommy told us that the late Archbishop was eating when he saw the news. It was live. And from his dining, he stretched his hand to the screen and prayed in tongues, and there was power outage in the station, and the lady reading the news had stroke on the spot. So somebody else came to read the news and edited that headline. Remove that headline. They removed that one. They continued. Had stroke on the spot. We were in church. It's 3 layers. And we are just excited. We are jumping. A young girl was too excited. And she jumped. From there, landed. Bam! Sir, I had never seen the human brain until that day. White. Doctor, that was the first time I saw the human brain. Brain opened. Liquid coming out. People were, hey, hey. Our bishop acted like nothing happened. He was talking. He said, look at me, look at me. You know him. Look at me. Forget about her. Look at me, look at me. We are not looking at him. Honestly, I wasn't looking at him. I was looking at. That was the day I knew that resurrection is based on merit. Raising the dead is on merit. I will tell you what I mean by that. Jesus brought Lazarus back to life. True? You know the contribution and the placement Mary and Martha had on him? Jairus came back to life. There are certain people, by reason of their connection to your assignment, it is that merit that speaks of them when the enemy shows up. And I wasn't looking at the dead. I was looking at the whitish. Get me the oil. Get me the oil. Get me the oil. Some were crying. He prayed on it. He came down, went over her, covered her, anointed her head, and he turned. As he stood to go, the young girl stood to follow him. Now I was trying to analyze, how did the liquid? No, I'm sorry. I was trying to analyze how myself and the young man with me started crying. We just started crying. We said, what is this? What is this? That's what happens when you think you have gotten to the holiest of all. There is still manna to make you ask, Lord, what is this? Dimensions of work with God. Get back home, look for ask anybody to get you a material called Arari Crusade, 1985. Most great men of God today within the country. People like Bishop Oyedepo and Co. That was the crusade they contacted. Strange, miraculous. I heard Bishop Oyedepo say after that crusade, he went home crying and he felt God walking into his room. The Archbishop was ministering and he said, I'm not preaching, I'm tired. Bring out all the cripples, all the blind. Bring all of them. They brought them. And they brought the dead. About 3 of the dead. So mommy went and told the people that brought the cup, said, please, my husband said blind, cripple. So the woman said, yes, a dead person is blind and cripple. Watch this. Sir, flies were there. Not just flies. The flies had died on the corpse. Had died, perched. And the man said, as I begin to worship God, they will start standing up. Arabians stood up and we were watching to see what would happen. Those who were brought, the blind were seen, the lame was walking, the dead stood up. What made this man mighty? Prayer of intimacy. Prayer not for what you want. Fall in love with God. Enter into his presence without an intention to leave. Elijah said, before the Lord, whom I stand, not whom I visit, whom I stand.